That was Green Day, their song known as 16. And in case you didn't know, Green Day was around before they released that Dookie album, which was, alright. One of the first albums I ever got was the Dookie. And then that song was 16, which came from their compilation that came out in 1992 when Nirvana was still alive. So I think, Green Day's not the greatest band in the world. I'm just going to admit that, but that's probably one of their better songs they've made. So you always seem to, if you go to a band and you follow their roots, their early roots, that's where you find their best music in most cases. Now, I did this show today for one specific reason, and that was to welcome the Newsguy back. He is back from the grave. I did get a gypsy revival spell, and I revived him. That's why he's back. And since, Passover is over, he was allowed to come back after his wife let him come play with all the haters, as you might say, on Spreaker. Because Spreaker is usually about love. Then, a lot of the other times, it's just about hate. So, you get the best of both worlds when you log into Spreaker. Everyone knows this. Everyone should know this. You get what you pay for. And since you don't pay to listen to anybody here, you get nothing. Anyways, well, nice to see you back, Mr. Newsguy. Unfortunately, I did notice a lot of trolls, and if I can make a recommendation, Mr. Newsguy, don't block everybody. Don't be a killjoy. I noticed that, and none of those trolls were me, but because I was sitting there eating and doing other things, so I didn't troll. And if I do troll someone's show, it's usually not bad. It's just kind of, I try to raise the entertainment value, you know. I never really attack the host. I don't know. You can kind of tell my quote unquote friends here and there. So yeah, Newsguy, just try to be a little easier on the socks and the fun, you know, because some people like the chaos of your chat, you know, and you come from a Nimbuster background, so you'd think you'd understand a little bit about freedom of speech, you know, so. But other than that, it was a pretty good show. You do sound a lot rusty, and that's fine. I do too. I sound rusty all the time because I do a show once every 2 or 3 weeks. That's how lazy I got, Newsguy. Without you around as a medium of drama, somewhat neutral, you know, it's just, what else do we got? You know, we don't even have Andy Bong anywhere. I mean, if he's somewhere else, sure as hell I don't know about it. But ever since you left, you know, you don't really see this Andy Bong anywhere. Which is unfortunate because Andy Bong, in small doses, not large, but small, is perfect. It's a perfect combination for lulls and what have you. So, if you do come back, and which you are back, try to get a hold of Andy Bong. And it'd be nice to have him call in and all that. So, welcome back, Newsguy. And I listened to Goofy Bone's show last night. It's pretty interesting. And they were giving you kind of a hard time, but overall, I think Goofy Bone was happy to see you. I can't speak for Mac, but it didn't sound like he was too happy to see you. I just got that feeling. But Spreaker is kind of in a downward spiral, I think, in some fashion. So whenever we have new faces or whenever we have old faces pop up, it's always a good thing. I want to tell you guys a little story about something else, if you know what I mean, dogs. There's a few shows on here. They're called the British shows. There's Basil. Fuck, man. I'm not a very good British person. I just would never fit in. They have to be proper. They talk like this. And it's like, fuck off. I can't talk like that too long without losing my mind. And just to be clear, Vegas is still on. If you guys are still interested in going to Vegas, which it might just be me, just considering the flakiness of most people at this network, it's going to be October 1st to October 5th. For some of you, it'll be the 2nd to 4th. The 2nd being a Friday and the 4th being a Sunday. I always like to stay a little bit longer than the weekend personally, only because you get the huge crowds trying to come in and trying to leave. So I always say it's just best to come in on a Thursday and leave on a Monday. That's how I see things. So I give you guys all this heads up so far in advance, so you can't be like, oh, I can't save some money. Ideally, you want to probably spend about $200 at least, bare minimum, every day you're in Vegas. So if you're there for 3 days, just every day you're there times it by 200. And that's how much you should bring, bare minimum. There's lots to do in Vegas. Barco was giving me a hard time because I think I was trying to sleep in if I go there. I was like, you know what? Go to bed at 4, wake up at like... Now, this is my ideal situation. When we're all in Vegas, we're all just fucking having a good time, drinking, getting crazy, doing all this, doing all that. Ideally, I'd like to pass out about 4. And, I don't know, wake up at like noon to 2, and then Barco, the unsufferable, is giving me shit. Like, how dare you sleep that long? It's like, motherfucker, I don't do as much meth as you wish I would do. You know? I only dabble in meth every few hours, you bitch. You know, I still have to sleep on occasion. I mean, Lord permits it. He does. He has it out for me in a good way. For all you other people, it's time to get good with the Lord, because as John Calvin famously stated, and his doxology was, once you're good, you're in for life. So technically, you could just get in and then just do whatever you want. technically. Or you can chance it, like a lot of people do. Like, okay, well, you have about 5 more minutes left to live. Okay, I just found God, so fucking rocket fire straight to heaven. Technically, that's how it's supposed to work. But, I mean, for all the other Christians that were goody-goody their whole life, ooh, they might be a little bit pissed. They might be a little bit salty up in heaven, you know? You're up there fucking basically a free pass. Like, hey, I had it so good, and then I found God at the last minute. Boom! I'm going to have it good for the rest of eternity in heaven. So it makes you wonder about all these things. Now, I was talking about the British shows. I think I'm done going into those shows. I'll be honest with you. I've heard some insider information. I'm not going to say who, but from multiple sources, that, yeah, there's the main show, Brian Gittins. He kind of does the same show most of the time. Sometimes he does interviews, and he is a famous actor in England, which, if you're an American, that doesn't really mean much, unless you're Ricky Gervais, or however you say his fucking name. But other than that, you know, Americans probably don't really know who that guy is. But anyways, the whole point is, there's 2 other shows there. The Basil Butler, and then there's the Funny Looking Podcast. Now, unfortunately, with these shows, they're essentially the copycats of Brian Gittins. So essentially what they do is they open up their show, and it's 2 things, and usually only 2 things, because they cannot really hold a conversation or anything else. What they do is they just sit there, play fucking shitty indie music, and then, need a caller, please call, please save me from myself, because I can't do a proper fucking show. I have no personality, I rely on you, I rely on the Skype caller to keep going forward here. Oh wait, no one's calling me, let me play this fucking tune here, alright. It's like, someone needs to fucking eBay these guys some fucking personalities. Fucking Royal Mail them. Fucking priority them something. It's like, God, what am I doing here? Why am I listening to this? And the worst part is, unless you have something to offer these guys, the hosts, or even the callers, like, or the chat room warriors, they really don't like you. Because, A, if you're a fucking American, oh my God. A fucking American, he must be a fucking grapefruit. Oh my God. Whoa. He's not from Castle Rock like me. Oh my God. Gain got. Then they just look down upon you. If you say hello to them, you don't exist. Unless you're a producer, unless you write shit, unless you have some sort of connections in Hollywood. I'm telling you, people, there's some cutthroats out there. At least on the American Spreaker side, you know, everyone's just a giant douchebag in their own right, you know, and that's fine. But there's no mistakes about, you know, I don't think people, well, at least a lot of people get it, they're not going to make money with this hobby. Some people are under the impression that they're getting close to making a ton of money on these podcasts. They're not. No one's making shit. Sorry. I don't care who you are. If you're on Spreaker right now, and you're not even doing stuff solely on iHeart, iHeart's kind of like the kindergarten of real radio, but it's still not. If you're not getting paid, you're not getting paid. Fucking lose the pretension. Stop being a fucking huge ego faggot. And fucking just you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about, man. I'm about coming on here and just fucking, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm on here to digitally tongue everybody, okay? If you ever do a show and you feel a tongue up your butt, that's probably me. In spirit. Sparking you. Your little choo-choo train to make it go forward. That's what you need to do. We need to be positive. We need to Rolodex our thoughts into a proper medium. So if you have a Commodore 64, please go ahead and send to me COD. I really would